Hey guys, I'm Bethany.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is Looking for the Middle.
And welcome to week 3 of Online Dating Month, where we are breaking down all things online dating for you guys.
We are.
It has been quite an experience already. I'm learning a lot. Bethany is a wealth of knowledge and wisdom on this topic. So if you haven't already listened to weeks 1 and 2, be sure and go check those out. We did 10 tips for starting online dating or getting back into online dating that set a really good foundation for this whole month. And then we broke down all the ins and outs of eHarmony last week. So check those out. But today we are going to be deep diving into dating apps, as in the swiping apps.
Aren't you guys excited?
Woohoo! So this one will be, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
We have the same list of questions we talked through with eHarmony, so y'all get the same base.
It's not going to take as long.
It's not going to take as long.
Speed through them
Bethany,
for several.
Literally before we get going with last week's episode, I'm like, how long do you think these are going to be? She's like, oh yeah, like 15, 20 minutes. She was on question 2 at 13 minutes last week, and I was like, all right, we're going to be here for a while. And so as soon as I hit stop on the recording, she was like, how long was it? I was like, 32 minutes. She's like, dang it, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, it was great.
I could feel it going on and on.
Well, at
and
one
on,
point, she's like, y'all know that I am not, or I am a wordy person. And I'm like, yep, this episode.
Know it real well.
No, it's great. And we would rather give y'all more than less when it comes to this. So, but yes, we're going to
get your money's worth around here,
yeah,
people.
Exactly. So we're going to jump into these same questions.
Okay.
We're breaking down specifically Bumble and Hinge.
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Okay. I have been on Bumble and Hinge.
Yeah.
I have not been on Coffee Meets Bagel, but I have friends who have, and it sounds fascinating. So
there's coffee beans.
Sounds like caffeinated prostitution, honestly. Just a little bit.
It's the most hilarious description I've ever heard.
It's not. But that's when you try to describe it to somebody who's never done it, that's what it sounds like.
It totally does. Oh my word. So, that's funny.
Anywho, let's jump in.
Okay.
All right.
So do we want to go like question 1 through 6 with one, question 1 through 6 with the next one? I can't say 1 through 6. That's hard.
1 through 6.
1 through 6.
I say we go with all of them. Or just
question 1.
Question 1.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to...
Yeah, talk about everyone with each question.
Okay.
So, question number 1. Are you currently on any of these platforms?
Yes and no.
So, which ones are you on?
Well, I have all of the apps downloaded on my phone.
Okay. Are you checking any of them? Not really.
Okay. Here's where I stand with those for now. And for most of the times. If something that I'm paying for is just really not working out at the moment, then I'll check an app.
So they're your backup plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if I'm like, I'm not paying for any sites, I'm not really doing anything, and maybe I'll have Bumble on my phone and I'll just swipe every once in a while. It's not something that holds my interest very long. It burns me out. If that's something that you are prone to, apps are not the place for you. Mm-hmm. Because the left swipe to right swipe ratio is
high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So people meet their spouses on Bumble, on Hinge. I know they do. It's not my favorite, and I'm not going to act like it is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So...
And like we told y'all in the last episode, if you haven't listened to it, this will be news to you. But this is totally our unsolicited opinion.
100%.
We are not being sponsored by anybody, obviously. Y'all love that we don't have commercials. We wish we had commercials. But y'all love that we don't. And we love that y'all get to...
We love that you love it.
Yes.
And round we go.
Yes. So this is just 100% our opinion.
110% probably.
You might like them more than we do. But just if you want to know what we think, this is what we think.
And that's okay if you like them too. Like, this is most all of these things, it's purely preferential. Do what you like. Go with it. But this is what we like, and this is what we've tried and tried again and tried again. Like, we've been around this particular block a few times.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite of the 3?
It changes.
Okay.
Which is something I've realized because, like, I'll be talking to friends and they're like, oh, I'm on Bumble. I'm like, oh, I love Bumble. And they're like, you said you liked Hinge. I'm like, well, I used to.
It fluctuates.
It seems to be cyclical. And it's like when there's really great people on Bumble, no one is on Hinge and vice versa.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's like just mental, it seems that way, or if it literally is like people are like, it works that way for everyone. So everyone's like switch. Like I wonder if there's something too, like they really are cyclical and everyone gets burned out on Bumble and they move to Hinge and then they move back, but you never realize that it's all the same people. I don't know. I don't know.
I will say personally, I always liked Hinge better.
Okay.
But the reason for that is, if you're not familiar, Bumble requires the female to be the first one to reach out. I hate that.
Oh, okay.
You like that.
I do.
I hate it.
I have a foolproof opener.
You do.
It still works every single time.
You do. The ice cream opener is just killer. I hate it because
that's funny.
I have learned that I am not nearly as funny and interesting when you don't know me in person.
I'm so much more funny and interesting when you don't know me in person. I'm like a big step down in person.
No, I'm like, I don't think so.
Well, you really know me.
Well, exactly.
I'm saying I'm hilarious at first online.
See, I'm terrible.
I got the witty banter thing down, but then in person, I'm like, oh.
I'm so awful. Like, I can flirt in person with the best of them and make these little comments and whatever, but I am absolutely terrible on paper.
We are really opposite in so many ways when it comes to dating, which you would never, like, I never knew, like, I thought we were very similar.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, wow,
we are very different.
I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, I can flirt with someone. I can flirt, trust me.
Oh, like, she can. I've witnessed.
I can be a flirt. They have to rein me in sometimes. But that's with people I know or who I actually really like. You know what I mean? In person, I don't do well flirting with just random people that you've just met. But on paper, over texting, I got that down.
That's so funny. So keep that in mind. If you're one way or the other, you might like one more than the other.
Such a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think from a standpoint of quality and quantity of matches? What are your thoughts on the apps? Does one stick out to you? Okay. Well, the one thing I will say is I feel like the quantity is a lot bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Than any, like, paid site that I've seen.
It's seemingly endless.
Yeah, like I very rarely see the same person twice.
Yeah. And you never run out.
Yeah.
There's always people. I will say one thing that's nice, that's new. Coffee Meets Bagel doesn't have this. Bumble and Hinge both do now. They do have something to kind of differentiate. I think Hinge sets it up kind of at the top. It says just joined, and Bumble says somewhere like new or something to where you know, oh, hey, this person is new to the platform, which is just kind of sometimes helpful to know. Hinge has gotten to where they have a little thing that says active 1 day ago, today, whatever, before you match, like before you like someone. So that's helpful too, because you don't know when the last time someone was on there is. There's no telling.
No.
But so that is nice that Hinge does have that. And then Coffee Meets Bagel, Coffee Meets Bagel is, if you've tried it, you know it is just its own beast, really. It is not like anything else. They have their own little world, their own little currency. Like, it's very different. So Bumble is your typical, to go back to the beginning, Bumble is your typical swiping app. You swipe either way, and then you match when someone else swipes right on you too. And it says, oh, hey, you matched. And then you talk, but the girl is the one who has to initiate the conversation there.
And you only have 24 hours to do it.
Okay, yes. Let me get through these three. I have a really, no, actually that made me think of something that's like a really big tip for Bumble, but let me kind of explain all three. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
So Bumble, typical swiping. Hinge, you're on someone's profile, you like something specific about their profile, and it lets them know. And then they like something back and start a conversation if they want to. So Bumble, you only know if someone swiped on you if you also swiped on them. So if you come across someone that you know in real life that you would like to swipe on, if you do that on Bumble, they will not know unless they swipe on you too. So, tip to keep in mind. On Hinge, as soon as you like someone, it sends them a thing saying, hey, this person liked your profile, and you can see who it is, and then you decide if you want to like them back. So in that instance, if there's someone you know and you're trying to be anonymous, Hinge is not the place to go. If it's someone, like, they will know that you liked them. And then from there, same way you talk. There aren't as many time constraints on Hinge. So that's how those two work. Coffee Meets Bagel. And Kristen laughs because like if you've tried it, you're laughing with us right now. I guarantee you. If you've never tried it, I'm gonna try really hard to explain this, but then the only way to really figure it out is to go download it and give it a try. So the way it works is you fill out your little profile, and then it shows you 10 to 12 to 15 profiles. I think it rolls over at noon. So you have them, and in the ones that they show you, you can like them or move on, just like anywhere else. And that's free, quote unquote. All the ones in that list they show you every day. So you go through those 15, and then it's like, okay, well, there'll be more tomorrow at noon, another batch. And you can like and or dislike, whatever, any of those you want to. So then it has a section of people who have liked you, usually from the previous day. It rolls over, but you can only really see all of those, if you pay on there. So disregard that. I don't pay for this. And then there's a section that's just like, oh, here's your people for today that you can just scroll. The first section is ones I think you would be compatible with. The others are just people in your area that you can just kind of scroll through, and it changes every day. Those people, though, if you want to like them, it's going to cost you like 300 and something coffee beans. Yes, I said coffee beans. Now, before you run to your pantry and start counting out beans, someone at Coffee Meets Bagel thought that would be a good way of like a good currency. You can buy coffee beans with real money if you want to on the app and use them. Or every day when you log in and like or dislike someone on that first section, the first one of those that you make a move on earns you coffee beans as well. I think
wish y'all could see Bethany's face right now.
It's just weird.
It is weird.
And so the only thing that keeps me from saying don't ever use it is that I have met a couple of people on there, had a few good conversations. So there's good people on there. It's odd. That's just all I know how to say. Like, it is just very different. I'm sure some people love it. It is one of the slightly lesser known ones. It's still coming into the mainstream, and there's not, I think that's partly why they have it set up the way they do as far as showing you people, because there aren't nearly as many people on there as there are other places. But if that's your thing, that could be perfect. If you don't like that overwhelm of having so many people all the time, that might be good. And I'm running on about the quirks and whatever. It's just different. It's not bad necessarily. It just seriously takes some getting used to figure out the lingo and all of everything.
Yeah.
So
I would agree.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's go back to the Bumble thing.
Yes.
You talked about, so on Bumble, when you both swipe right, it'll put up in your matches, but it's got a little countdown, and you have 24 hours to initiate that first message. Once you do that, they have 24 hours to respond, or it goes away. But then after you've messaged and they've responded, all counters go off. Like, it's just a conversation at that point. So... one tip I have found to be helpful. Let's say I'm swiping and I swipe right on someone and it immediately tells me, oh, hey, you matched. If it does that, track with me here. When you swipe right and it immediately tells you that, it means they swiped first. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you don't know how long ago that was.
Okay.
They could have seen your profile 4 days ago or whatever, and they're just now getting to you. I don't know how the algorithm works. It may not be that long. But if you immediately go message them, well, that eliminated your 24-hour timer. You've got their 24 hours to hear back from them. However, if you swipe on them, you have 24 hours to message them first. In that 24 hours, if they log into Bumble, they will see that you matched. You just haven't messaged them yet. Wait into that 24 hours because it gives more time for them to log in and realize that you matched. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you message immediately, you have 24 hours for them to see that you matched, that you message them and message you back. If you wait 18 of your 24 hours and then message them, well, you've got 18 and 24, which is what, 42?
Yep.
Hours instead of 24. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So as much as you want to, if you swipe right and it matches you with someone, they swipe first and you don't know when.
Yeah.
Now, if you swipe right, nothing happens on someone. And then later that day or the next day, whatever, oh, you get a thing. Oh, hey, you matched with someone. That means they just swiped right, which means they're just on there. And in that instance, if you want to go ahead and message them, that's fine.
Yeah, because they're
they're right there.
They're right there.
Exactly.
That's a good tip.
So
I like that.
I've learned that over time.
So we've kind of touched on this a little bit already.
Yeah.
But when it comes to ease of use, I feel like these are pretty easy.
Coffee Meets Bagel is confusing.
Now that
once you
one,
figure
yes.
it out, the actual setup of the app is very easy.
Okay.
It's very easy to use. It's intuitive, whatever. You just got to figure out their quirks and lingo
thing.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. The others, super easy to use.
Yeah. You're swiping, you're liking,
Yes.
and then you're messaging.
Yep.
I mean, there's
Super
really,
simple.
it's super simple. So then pricing for these, you mentioned Coffee Meets Bagel if you want to buy beans.
Yeah.
like
Or if you
Jack
want
and
to
the
see all of
Beanstalk.
your life.
Yeah, you can pay for that.
Yes.
Bumble, isn't it where now like you have to pay for premium if you want, you can see your matches, but then also if you want to set certain filters,
Yes.
you have to pay, which
And I
that
think it's
didn't used to be the case.
It didn't. And I think it's the same with Hinge. Like,
Okay.
you get, let's say 3. I don't know the exact number, but let's say you get 3 filters that you can pick for free, but only certain ones. Like, there's
Yeah.
certain ones that even if you wanted it to be one of your 3, it's only a premium filter. So yeah, you have to pay for that now. And Bumble and Hinge are both just like a monthly subscription model now. And I want to say it's $12, $15 a month. It's not a ton. But if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. Just puts a little more work on you to have to weed through people.
It does.
What you're doing anyways.
Exactly. So for Bumble, you see, like, you have this little blurred out circle on your matches page of like, and it has a number in it of like how many people have swiped right on you, but you can't tell who they are. Mm-hmm. If you pay, you can see who all of the people are who have swiped right on you, and you can go look at them specifically and decide. So hey, if I swipe on this person, it will be a match. They've already swiped on me. So that's,
Yeah.
if you want to know that, great. Bumble has this thing now where they basically like tease you to where like if you swipe left on someone who had swiped right on you, not every time, but sometimes if you swipe left on someone who has swiped right on you, it's like, ooh, you just missed a potential match. Looks like you just missed someone. And
Oh my
it's like,
gosh.
oh my word.
You're like, wow, thanks, Bumble.
Bumble used to have a thing where when you swiped left on someone accidentally, you could like shake your phone and it would bring them back, and you could do that. It had a set number of times for free. Well, you can't do that at all anymore. So if you are used to that, that's gone for free. But yeah, it's very easy to use. And most of the features you get for free still on there.
Yeah. You can get by without paying.
Yes.
If you want
and
to.
I think same thing on Hinge. Hinge has this thing now where, okay, so on Hinge, you just see people like you do on Bumble, just over and over and over. Then they also have this section that's like every day, because Hinge's thing is it's designed to be deleted. So they pride themselves on their algorithm that really hones in on how you're interacting with different profiles and show you ones that they try to really tailor it. So they have a thing now where it's a different section that every day, I want to say it rolls over at noon too, it'll show you like 10 or 12 people that are like, hey, we really think these are like top
You'll like
prospects
these people.
for you.
Yeah.
So for those people, you can't just like send them a like if you like one of them. You have to send them a rose.
Oh, a very
We
bachelor.
talked about this. Yes. You send someone a rose, which I feel so strange doing. Bethany sent you a rose. Ugh.
Will you accept this rose?
But you get 1 rose a week, I think.
Oh,
They
so
show you
you
new people every day. You
really
get 1
gotta-
a week, or you can buy more. So they show you these people that are like, hey, we really think you're going to like these people, and you probably really will. And then they want you to pay to be able to send
talk
them a
to
rose.
more than one of them.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. I will say Hinge, I see people over and over a lot more than I do on Bumble.
Okay.
But then same thing, I think Hinge, you have to pay for certain filters to be able to use them too. And then also again with Hinge, you can see how many people have liked you, but you only actually see the top one, the most recent one,
Yeah.
to look at their profile. So like if
You've got to get through that guy
got
before you
5,
can
yes.
look through the others. That bugged the crap out of me.
you can pay to be able to look through them.
Yeah.
If you've got 5, let's say, likes, which I never have 5 likes, don't let that like it's like 2. But if let's say you have 5, the most recent one will be the person's profile who you can see, and you know they've liked you, and you can make a decision you want to like them back or X them out and move on. As soon as you do that, well, number 4 moves up to that next spot. So
Okay.
that's with Hinge. And then Coffee Meets Bagel, everything is done in coffee beans, and you spend real money to buy coffee beans if you don't have enough. But
And don't you get more every day?
yeah, you get more every day.
So,
and I've never had to
go buy any.
But I will say this, I've never had to go buy any because they build up at a rate that way outpaces the number of people I've actually been interested in talking to on there. If that says anything about the...
Okay.
But that's just me. I want to be careful and say it's not my favorite, but other people may love it. It's just not my thing.
Not your first choice.
You know, stuff like that. It makes you say, okay, well, people who are similar to me, who I would want to talk to, it may not be their first choice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So just play with it, see what you like.
Yeah.
They're all free to download. I would say that. Try them all.
Yeah.
And decide what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice. So when it comes to setting up your profile on these, obviously it's not as extensive as like an eHarmony or a Match, which is nice. But what tips do you have as you're setting up the profiles on each one?
I think all this is going to be advice for all of them because I think they're all pretty similar in this. I want to say you can pick 3 or 4 prompts. Like there's a whole list of prompts, but it caps you at like pick 3 or pick 4 or 5. Like
I think Hinge is 3 and Bumble's 3 or 4
something like
yeah.
that. And they're meant to be shorter answers. I think it lets you arrange them in the order you want them to show up on your profile. So even on a swiping app, I want it to be known that my faith is important to me and that I'm looking for the same. So I find a prompt in there that I can work that into. Like I know one of Hinge's is like describe the typical Sunday. Like
yes.
That's a great
I love
prompt.
when people do that because I'm like, are you going to church?
Exactly.
Or are you
that's
not?
a great prompt because I can put in there that's really important to me. And then I don't remember on Bumble, there's ones that you can work it in or just about you. Bumble may still have an about me section at the top where you just put a few things about you.
One thing I will say that I noticed is you can tell on Bumble how old someone's profile is and how maybe they haven't been on in a while by the way their profile looks compared to others.
True.
So Bumble has added like the little tags of like your religion, how active you are, height, all that stuff. That's these little bubbles or whatever. And then they've added prompts because used to it was just an about me and a bunch of pictures. So if you see that where it's just a paragraph about somebody and all they have is pictures, it's probably an older profile that has not been updated. So if you're wanting maybe the likelihood that somebody has been on a little more recently, you might want to look for an updated profile that's got those tags and the prompts and all of that. So just a little side tip.
Good point.
But you were saying,
I want it to be known that my faith is important. And so whatever prompt you pick for making sure that that's important, put that one at the top. One, so that it's like, oh, hey, this is the first thing someone sees. But then also people may not read the whole thing. And so I'm like, this is the thing I want someone to know right off the bat. Now, don't judge someone who doesn't put it at the top. It doesn't mean it's less important. I'm just saying I would recommend that you do that.
Yeah.
And that's really, for all of them, that's about what's important. Pick one that I can showcase that, okay, my faith is really important to me. And then I pick others that have like fun things about me. And like we said, I'm going to post mine. I'll post my profile for you I'll do a time recording or a screen recording of my phone, show you all my profile, and I'll put it on our stories. But then I make the others funny.
Yeah.
Something like I always say with online dating, the best profiles are the ones that give someone something that they can grab hold of and message you about. Because trying to come up with a message cold turkey, so to speak, is intimidating and it's hard. But if you give them something, then it makes it a lot easier.
Yes, I would 100% agree. So who would you recommend use dating apps? Like if you were going to recommend these to somebody, who would you recommend them to?
If I'm being honest, I would say a new Christian who is still navigating, figuring out what that means, figuring out what a godly relationship looks like, trying to just navigate all of that. This may not be the best platform because so many people are going to have in their little checkbox of religion that I'm a Christian, but then nothing in their profile reflects that. And so knowing, okay, is this a good match or not? Like, are they really a Christian or are they not? Like, kind of discerning that can be tough. And if you're just new to the faith and you're still, there's so much to like learn and really solidify on your own, this could be something that would make that a little more difficult. And I don't know how, do you have to be 18 to use these apps? Do you have to be 21? I'm not totally sure.
I don't know. I'm not either, now that you say that.
Yeah, it's 18.
18.
So it's 18 years to use it. So, and I know when you're on there, then you're going to be seeing other people your age. But I don't know that this is a great place for someone who's really young. I'm just thinking about if like I have an 18-year-old sister, I'd be like, oh no.
Yeah, please
you're
don't.
Not.
Please don't.
There's a lot out there. A lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too
detailed.
And I'm not trying to, I mean, I don't want to be dramatic either. I just, we live in a sinful world and there is nothing even remotely Christian or honoring, like people seeking to honor the Lord are not like, this is not their home base. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff out there that is on these apps. And if that's something, or if you're sensitive, if that's something that bothers you, it might not be the place for you. And I feel like I'm being super vague. I will just say this. On Bumble, I'll say this specifically. Bumble seems to be a hot spot for couples to create a profile who are looking for someone to join them. Right. And so
that's so uncomfortable.
It is. And you just,
that's kind of, yeah, you're going to have to weed through that.
Right. And so that's, I'm trying to be like, give information, but not just be too, I don't know.
Vague, yeah.
Yeah. And so that stuff is out there. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see it and you have to move on. And so if that's something that you don't want to, and that is okay. If that's something you don't want to have to like weed through, you don't want to see, if those things, there's going to be language on profiles, like words that we don't normally use. And there are going to be descriptions of women that are not the greatest. Yeah. And so if those things are hard for you to deal with and you just don't want to, all 100% okay. Just know that in these platforms, there's going to be more of that than some of the others. And it goes back to, like I say all the time with online dating, you get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. And so with an eHarmony, with a Match, even a Christian Mingle, it's not my favorite, but even with that, the occurrences of those kinds of things are just less.
Yeah.
So just know that.
Yeah. And I think it's good too, if like you're wanting to kind of try it and you're not 100% sure, get a friend to like do this with you. Not that they have to make one, but like say, okay, I'm only going to look at this when my roommate's here to help me.
Yes.
And if you want just some like extra, another set of eyes, some encouragement, some extra wisdom, whatever that looks like, we're going to do an episode in season 7 about not dating in a bubble.
Yes.
With Bethany's tagline. So this is one of those instances where you can do that. So keep that in mind too. And the other thing I'll say that really sticks out to me with the apps is, and I really didn't have this revelation until probably within the last 2 years, but no other religion do people haphazardly slap on their profile.
Yeah.
No one is like, oh yeah, I'm a, just casual, I don't know, Scientologist. Okay. Like no one does that. Right. All right. If you're a Scientologist, you're a Scientologist.
Yeah.
But people haphazardly, particularly in the South of the US, I don't know if this is the case everywhere.
Yeah.
But just slap on the title of Christian on their dating profile. And so you've got to be extra careful to discern that when it comes to online dating. So just keep that in mind. Last question, Bethany.
Okay.
Would you recommend dating apps to a friend?
Yes, but I would recommend them to a friend, but your friends, and so I wouldn't recommend them to everyone.
To every friend. Depends on the friend.
I would recommend them selectively, and I would recommend different apps for different people, and I would recommend all of them with a caveat of like, or a disclaimer of basically like, I'm not going to be held responsible for what you may encounter and all of that. So yes, but not just everyone should do this. Like, I mean, I think last week was eHarmony, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, I mean, that would be a glowing recommendation. Anyone who wants to try online dating, I would say eHarmony would be a great place for you.
Not the same for these.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll wrap it there. Hopefully that's helpful for y'all as you're if you're trying to figure out what to do, where to start. Gives you a little bit more information. So be sure and tune back in next week. The last Friday of our online dating month will actually be into September, but we are going to be sharing with y'all some information we've gotten from some guys that we know that we're pretty close to that gave us their perspective on online dating, what they're looking for, what they see,
what they wish they didn't see.
Yes, all of that, because it's always nice to have a guy's perspective because we only get the girl side of this. So we're going to be sharing that in a couple weeks, and then we'll kick off season 7 after that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Y'all come back next week. We'll talk to you then. But until then, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bethany.
And this is Looking for the Middle.